So I guess that's my cue to go ahead and go. So what's up, everyone? Gabe Mendez here live in San Diego. Today, we're going to be covering just a recap of everything that we went over on Friday. But before we get started, I want to hear from a couple people that were there live in person and just get their input on some of their breakaways and breakthroughs that they had. So let's go ahead and just hop on the mic. Who do we have that's here that wants to share just like a key takeaway that you had from Friday's event in San Diego?
Hi, Gabe. It's Cynthia. I think my biggest takeaway was obviously the speakers. They were amazing. There was a few nuggets that really resonated with me, but one of them was obviously how to sell to each personality.
Oh, yeah. That was huge. Huge one there.
In this career, we need to be able to know how to approach each type of personality, and that's really helpful.
Yeah. That was a big one for me too, was seeing that again in the way that he broke it down. And I actually have a slide here that he sent out to everyone. So I'm going to be displaying it on the screen. But thanks for sharing that, Cynthia. Who else? Who was there on Friday that wants to share one thing that they took away that was like impactful in their business?
For me, hi Gabe, this is Rosie. For me personally, it was the listing presentation. That was really like eye-opening. It really helped me. You target a few points that I'm not currently, doing myself. So definitely, I really like the listing presentation a lot.
Love that. Thanks, Rosie. Appreciate that. And remember, if you need any help with that listing that's coming up, don't hesitate to reach out or call.
Thank you.
Gabe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Steve, guys. So what I got out of the event, one of the points was that we have to do what other agents aren't willing to do. We have to put in that extra work. I remember one of the speakers was going over that. That really stood out to me.
Yeah. Do what others aren't willing to do, man. Go out there and put that work in. I think that's like, I like that because for me, it's like a reminder of universal law. It's like, hey, man, if you just continue to do that and stay and follow up and remain on top of it, eventually it's going to work out. You can't lose. The law of what is it? He called it. I think it's odds are in your favor. So definitely that, man. Appreciate that. Thanks, Steven. Who else, man? Let's get one more person. Juan, yeah, go ahead.
Juan. Yeah, for me, I think it was Matthew Welsh. His presentation was just one right after another. And a lot of times when people hear her, when I think of mindset, it kind of gets repetitive when you hear it first time. You're like, oh, there's another conference on mindset, right? But when you really understand that that's something that feeds your spirit, it brings you back up, especially as real estate agents. We just get worn out, because it's like you go out to hunt and you go out to war every single day to try to, catch or get something for you and your family, right? So I feel that those type of conferences, especially all the different, like I could speak a very long time about everything that he spoke about, but I think that what really, really hit it for me is the fact that you really need to feed your spirit consistently with surrounding yourself with people that are at that level, and just hearing that spirit and hearing that energy and because energy is contagious, and just being part of it and seeing him there, sharing his story about his own father and just everything he spoke about, it just, for me, I got the goosebumps and I was ready to do some burpees, push-ups, go out and talk to everybody. Like I was ready to go. So that was a major thing for me to understand that you just need to feed your spirit consistently.
Yeah. Matthew Welsh had a really fresh take on a message I think that we all hear often, but the way that he went about that message was a completely fresh take. The words were short but powerful, and I'm right there with you, man. Honestly, I was ready to go to war, and I don't even want to fight, but I wanted to fight someone after that, maybe myself, and just get over these limiting beliefs and ideologies that we create. But no, man, Matthew Welsh was a complete breakthrough. I think that was the perfect way to end the event, was with the hurrah and mindset. And Desiree just commented in the chat right now. She said that for me, it was there are losers, there are winners, and there are the ones that haven't figured out yet how to win. I beat myself up sometimes because I'm not where I want to be. That was a solid reminder. I'm not there yet, but will be as long as I continue. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So super glad. Thank you guys for sharing all that stuff. And I'm excited to be here with you. If I haven't met you yet personally, my name is Gabe Mendez, one of the coaches here at the Winner's Circle. And we hosted a summer soiree last Friday in San Diego. And we're going to recap some of the notes and conversations and some of the slides that we went over last week. So just be on the, I'm going to share the screen right now. And this is more of an open discussion. So I want you guys to go ahead and feel free to open the mic as you see something. I'm just going to recap it from my perspective. This isn't really a lecture or anything. This is more of a recap. So if there's something that you feel that resonates with you or something that you want to go over, we're going to recap their slides, touch on different points. Obviously, I'm going to emphasize a little more on the listing presentation because that was my segment of the training. But we're going to go ahead and just dive right in. If you guys can all do me a huge favor, I know some of you can't, but let's go ahead and get those cameras on. Turn those cameras on, cameras on. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Let's get those cameras on. Cameras on, everyone. Let's give everyone a quick moment. Thank you, Galen, for turning it on. Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate you. Let's get a few more people. Jacoby, good to see you, man. Love it. Terry, thank you. My boy Rashad, thank you. Bex, good to see you. Long time no see. I love it. Some of them, of course, if your camera can, if you're with your kids, of course, I understand, no problem. But like I tell the rest of the team, if you're getting your lashes done, your extensions pulled up, if you're getting a tattoo, doesn't matter. Turn the camera on. Let's go. Let's get it done. Doesn't matter what you look like. The safe circle here. It's the winner's circle. All right, here we go. Shifting it over. All right, so here's one of the slides that Kaya Redford had delivered. And this is the talk that you guys hear everyone talking about. It's the 4 personalities. So let's dive into that for a quick second. There are 4 personalities, 4 major personalities in sales. And you've probably heard of them labeled as different things, probably animals or letters or colors. The most famous way of identifying a personality type is what's known as a DISC assessment, D-I-S-C. It's the most universal way I think it's referred to as. So the DISC assessment, there are different platforms that you guys can pay for where you can actually identify your own personality type. You can send this out to clients. You can send this out to people on your team. But the DISC personality, D-I-S-C, 4 major personality types in the entire world. Now, listen to this. We're not saying these 4 personalities are the only personalities. It's the 4 major personalities, and everyone makes up at least a majority of one of them, and then within a combination of another. So, for example, a D personality. D stands for dominance. And who remembers what Kaya said about dominant people on Friday? This was a really good exercise if you were there live. Dominant people. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
We're fast paced and we want it now.
We're fast paced. No, we didn't want it now, Cynthia. What did he say?
It was yesterday.
We want it yesterday.
Yesterday.
We want it yesterday. People who are high D personality types, they want things done yesterday. Maybe you guys know this or not, but I'm a very high D personality. If not, surprise, very high D. B personality, they don't like talking about things that are not relevant to the issue. They don't like leaving loopholes or cloudy issues. They don't like appearing disorganized. It's one of my pet peeves. High D personalities don't like talking about kumbaya and want to hug you and how's this and how's that. That's just my natural state. That's a natural D personality. But there's also something called an adaptive state. So you have your natural, who you are as a natural person, and then you have your adaptive, which is what you adapt to once you go out into the marketplace. Most of the clients that you're going to be talking to, consumers that you're going to be talking to, sellers, buyers, these people don't have an adaptive state. They aren't trained salespeople, so they're always going to be in their natural state. So I'm a high D. High D's like, if you look at your screen, this is how you sell to a D personality. Well, let me backtrack for a quick second. The best question that I like to ask anyone in order to identify what personality type they are is, how's it going? How's it going? So that's my favorite question that I like to ask people when I'm identifying what personality type they are and what mood they're in. So for example, I can ask someone on the call, hey, how's it going? And they're going to respond based on their personality type and the mood that they're in. If they're in a really good mood, you're going to hear the tonality in their voice. You're going to hear the words they choose to use. Oh man, it's been an amazing morning. So good. I bet you if I ask Leo right now, he's going to be fired up with an amazing answer. So that's now I identify his mood. I'm like, oh, cool. He's in a happy mood. Let me raise my energy. Let me raise my vibration. Let me raise my tonality and match his energy. So how's it going is one of my favorite questions to ask to identify their mood and personality. And then you identify they're a D personality, which is known as D, red, dominant, dominance, driver. There's a lot of different names that you have for this D personality type. So whenever you're working with a D personality, be clear, be specific, be brief, and be to the point. Stick to business, give an effective presentation, come prepared with supportive material and a well-organized package. This is how you work and close a D personality. If you are naturally an I, you're an influencer, you're the life of the party. You like to run around and you're so happy all the time. You're so great. What's up, guys? Hi, how's it going? It's such a good day today. Every day above ground's a good day. If you come with that attitude and you're talking to a D personality across the table, someone is just very direct and to the point, and you're like, oh, game over. You're cut. It's done. It's done. They won't be able to tolerate your energy, your energy level. So D personality doesn't want that. They don't want the huggy. They don't want the friends. They don't want the high energy. A D personality wants get to the point yesterday. Don't go back and forth. Don't be ambiguous. Be very clear on your messaging. Give me the data. Give me the facts. Give me the numbers. Give me everything I need to know. I'll make the decision, but be honest and transparent and very direct. So if you sit down at a listing presentation, if you get a direct message on Instagram or Facebook from someone who's a D personality, get to the point. If you guys want to chime in or add anything on a D, go ahead. Or if you have any questions, again, this is an open discussion from last Friday's training that we had. Next personality is the I. Ask someone, how's it going? The I personality is going to answer you like, oh my gosh, it's a beautiful day. It's an excellent day. Every day above ground is a good day. I'm highly blessed and highly favored, brother. How's it going? You're going to have that kind of personality. That's really like one of my really good friends and kind of mentor, I guess I can call him, like Louis Chavez, if you guys haven't heard of him. Very high personality, influential. You talk to that guy, he's like people gravitate towards his energy. That's him. People want to be around him. Leo's another I personality. People just want to be around him. They're very people oriented. They're people first. That's an I personality. So if you ask them how it's going, you're going to be able to quickly identify by the way they respond, how happy and cheery they are. I personality. So when you sit across the table in the kitchen at a listing presentation, or you get a phone call from a buyer, ask them how it's going, and they respond like Louis or like Leo, that's an I personality. Raise your vibration, get a little more friendly, and get to know them. So when selling to a person who is magnetic, enthusiastic, friendly, demonstrative, and political, provide a warm and friendly environment. Don't deal with a lot of details unless they want them. Provide testimonials from people they see as important. And do not, with an I personality, write this down, you guys, write this down, write this down. We're giving you guys the gold on how to work with different personality types. When working with an I personality, do not be curt, cold, or tight-lipped. Curt is like cut, dry, to the point, very standoffish. Don't be cut, cold, standoffish. Don't be tight-lipped, meaning having short, fewer words. Don't be a person who controls the conversation. Can someone tell me what's one way of controlling a conversation? You can give me two ways, actually. There's two really good examples that we can talk about.
You ask
Asking
questions.
Ooh, of course. It's the eyes I want to go first. The life of the party, baby. Woo. Yes. Asking questions. You got to be very careful with that when you're sitting with an I personality. If you're sitting across the table and you're asking them, does that make sense? Do you want to do that? What about that? How about here? They're going to start to feel interrogated. And that little light of mind that they had inside of their little heart is going to start to dim, and they're going to start to feel uncomfortable and not in their natural state. Do not interrogate an I personality. Also, by controlling the conversation, don't talk about yourself so much. Oh my gosh, I did that too. I did this. I was over here. Because the influencer, they want to have the conversation. They want to lead it. They want to be the life of the party. Let them have that. In sales, let them have it. And lastly, when working with an I personality, do not, when you're selling to them, do not drive on facts and figures and alternatives or abstractions. So very obvious right there. When we're talking an I personality, they don't want to sit there and do all that stuff. They want to get the vibes, man. They want to make sure things look good and they sound good. And they just want to get their questions answered. And if they get their questions answered and they feel good about it, they're on board. They're on board. That's an I personality, and that's how you sell to them. This is the influencer of the bunch. This is the person who's very talkative. Go ahead. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I think it's spot on, bro. I think it's just powerful stuff. And the really cool thing is that once you have the awareness of like who you're talking to, and you have this frame, it gives you the ability to move back and forth and really connect with somebody, because you're not going to speak to them with your language. That's the one, I think, takeaway, right? Don't try to communicate to people with the way you communicate or you like to be communicated. You got to observe now with this piece of awareness and now be able to maneuver your style to be able to build rapport and people to do business. So really powerful stuff, man.
I think that was amazing what Leo just said. I want to focus on that for a quick second. I want all of you to start thinking about this as a new lens, as a new frame to look out of. Think of this as a new lens or a new frame to think out of. So you're taking your glasses and you're saying, okay, I'm going to put my disc frames on, like Leo and I just did, and we're going to look at everyone from the lens of DISC. We're going to, all of us on this phone call, moving forward, are going to begin looking at everyone from the frames of DISC. And the way that we're going to identify if they're a DISC is by asking them what question?
How's it going?
There you go.
How's it going?
There we go. 2 people are awake. That's good. Everyone else, turn your cameras on. We're start booting people out if you don't turn your cameras on. Let's go. Cameras on. Cameras
I can't
on.
get my camera
Let's
on.
go.
Man.
Let's go.
For those who can, I know some of you can't. I totally get it. But for those who can, which I know who can, we're going to start booting people out. As my D personality come in, I want to see those faces. I want to talk to you guys. Let's go.
I can't get my camera on, man. I don't know what's going on.
I got you, Louis. It's all good, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Come on,
Hey,
Louis.
but I gotta say something, man. This stuff that's out here, Gabe, I didn't have this stuff, man. Right? I had to crash and burn to learn this stuff, man. So you guys, how blessed you guys are to know this stuff, and good stuff, Gabe. Unbelievable, man.
Wow, Louis. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. Means a lot coming from you. Maria, thanks for turning your camera on. Daisy, thank you. Gandhi, appreciate you. The icon, Miss Matos, the queen herself in the building. Thank you for doing that, queen. Okay, got a lot of heavy hitters in here today. I love it. All right, we're gonna keep on going. Let's keep doing this. All right. So far, so good. Everyone with me? Everyone with me? Give me some nods. Drop some comments down below. Make sure you guys are still with me. Thumbs up. Everything good? You guys are learning a lot, getting a lot of value. Perfect.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything because I'm too direct. So.
Oh, good, Galen. Miss Galen.
Everybody take a guess and see hey, based on what Galen just said, what kind of personality type is she?
C.
Yep.
Yeah.
Killer, straight killer.
Yeah, that's a D, obviously. I don't want to say anything because I'm too direct. That was just direct in itself. I love it. Okay, here we go. Moving on a personality trait. Moving over to the S personality. Someone who is more steady. When you're selling to an S personality type, when selling to a person who is patient, predictable, reliable, steady, relaxed, and modest, begin with a personal comment. Break the ice. I want to give you guys a real clear example of who we all might know that is an obvious S, and that is my wife, Cherish, the one in the pink shirt, sitting in the car. She is a very, very high S. When I first met her, I thought she was an I. So I was all up in the grill, talking to her, mirroring and matching her. She didn't know I knew this kung fu judo ninja stuff. So I was all up in her ear, spitting game, all that kind of stuff. And little did I know, when she was nodding her head, yes, agreeing with everything, she was actually backing up in her heart. She was like, oh, this guy's a little too much. Like, damn, what? He wants to take me out to the Chris Brown concert? I just met you, bro, chill. And like, because on the outside, an S personality is going to make you make it look like everything's okay. But an S person who is stable, predictable, reliable, relaxed, modest, they need to feel secure before they do anything. So when you're selling to that person, begin with a personal comment, break the ice, get to know that person so that guard begins to come down. Present yourself softly, non-threateningly, and logically. So you can just imagine with this personality that I have and her soft, gentle personality type, it was a lot. It was overwhelming. So with her, I had to learn how to soften it up. Hey, how's it going? How are you guys doing today? What'd you guys get into? Oh, it sounds cool. And then we would talk on text message, and then I would just allow myself out the door, and I wouldn't be aggressive, and I wouldn't follow up, and I wouldn't say anything else. Well, you want to go out, or when can I see you? Or just see myself out the door until the trust started to build. Earn their trust, provide proven products. Do not, when you're selling to an S personality type, don't rush headlong into the interview. Don't be domineering or demanding, forcing them to respond quickly to your questions. D personalities want answers yesterday. So if you'll know some of the D personality because when they ask you a question, they're going to expect a response right away. And if someone who's a D personality will respond to you right away, give you a quick answer. But someone who's an S personality, they're going to take their time. In a disagreement, in an argument, in a conversation, the S personality is going to take more time to come to their conclusion. So what does that sound like when you're at a listing presentation? What does it sound like when you have a lead who wants to purchase a home on the phone, or you have a buyer? You might say something like, hey, here are the sales comparables. Here's what the agent told me. Here's my suggested offer terms and my offer price. A D person might say something like this. That doesn't make too much sense to me. Maybe a little higher. No, I was thinking this otherwise. That's a D. And S might say, okay, appreciate that. Thanks for sending that over. I'll review it. Anything else? And they want their time to consume it, or they want a moment to think about it before they even respond. You have to quickly be able to identify that, because if you don't identify an S personality type and you go headstrong into it, you can lose that client. How many of you have potentially lost a lead, buyer, seller, maybe even getting your offer accepted because you were too D with the S, or you were too I with an S, or you were too S with a D? If I have an S listing agent, a buyer's agent calling me on my D personality listing, I'm like, my toes tapping on the floor. I'm like trying to keep my professionalism, my cool, my bro, all the information's on the MLS. Why are you calling me right now? I'm answering the call. What else do you need? Like, let's get to the point. And the S is like very slow and steady. So the reason we're going through this today is because we're training all of you on how to be better equipped to go out into the world and to deal with these different personality types. And we're giving you real life scenarios. So that's your S personality. Next, you have your C, compliance. When selling to a person who is dependent, neat, conservative, perfectionist, careful, and an important word here is compliant. Prepare your presentation in advance. Stick to business, provide facts to support your presentation. Be accurate and realistic. Don't exaggerate. Do not be giddy, casual, informal, or loud. Do not waste time with small talk. And do not be disorganized or messy. Your C personality type is your person who's like an analyst. They're very analytical. It's someone who loves stats, numbers, and graphs. This is the type of person who wants to see data. They make data-driven decisions. This isn't someone who says it feels good, right? When someone says, oh, this feels right, typically that's an I personality. When someone says that makes logical sense, or I need to think about it, that's typically like a C or an S, someone who's a little more logic. That's your C personality type. So when you're presenting to them on a listing presentation or presenting them an offer they should submit or why they should choose you. Use data, use analytics. Hey, listen, here's the listing presentation. We're going to go over 5 pages today. Page 1 is this, 2 is this, 3 is that, 4 is that, 5 is this. Sales comparables, our net sheet's all prepared for you to review in advance. We have all the sales comparables ready for you to review as well. And you have all the data there for them. You're short, you're not overwhelming, you're not too giddy, too personable. It's just data driven. And then when they ask you a question, you have a logical response for them. It's not, I think, I feel, I wish. It's a factual driven answer. Whereas someone with an I, when you're presenting to them, you can be a little more giddy. Oh my gosh, I love it. Hey, look, once we're done selling your home, we're going to take a shot together and we're going to celebrate over here. That's more of an I personality. D personality is sitting across the kitchen. You're straight to the point. No, I understand. This is how we're going to get it done. Are you comfortable with that? Remember, D likes to make the decisions and they want to be in control. All right, before we move on from the DISC personality, anyone have any questions or thoughts?
Gabe, I got some stuff about the commercial business, guys. So I want to just give you guys some insight. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Persians, man, when you do business with Persians in the commercial space, Persians are totally an I. They want to know who you are, who they're doing business with, right? And this is good, something good to learn about Koreans, Indians, Chinese, right? So Koreans are the D personality. They're trained to be a D in business, right? Indians an I, Chinese a D. So just study the personalities of these cultures, man. It'll help you in business.
Appreciate that, Louis. Thank you for sharing that, brother. Always dropping nuggets and gold. Okay, everyone turn your eyes to the screen. This is something else that Kaya talked about. It is the holy grail of action. Can someone tell me why someone takes action versus why someone doesn't?
Belief.
Yeah. Believe.
Fear.
There's another word for it that we're looking for.
Fear.
Fear. Love it. We got belief, fear. One more person. Why does someone take action versus someone not take action?
They doubt themselves.
I love it. Doubt. The word that we're looking for, these are all like pretty much synonyms of the word that I'm looking for. The word that we're looking for today is the holy grail of anyone taking action. Who is that? Is that Natalie Castro in the car? Yes. Natalie, can you tell me when you were, before you got into the car, if you're able to speak, if not, then someone else who drove. For those people who drove their car today, Natalie, you specifically, did you get into your car this morning because you were unsure of the car's security and stability? Did you get into your car and drive it because you were unsure of its stability and its security? Meaning you were doubtful or unsure that it was going to work, the tires were going to fall off, the engine was going to explode. Is that why you got into the car?
Of course not. I was confident that it was going to work like it worked yesterday.
You were confident, and in the name of Jesus, it will continue to work perfectly. And she was, the word I'm looking for right here, team, is certainty. She was certain that the car was going to work. All of you who drove today, used the car. None of you would have gotten in your car, in an airplane, on a taxi, in an Uber, if you were not 100% certain that that car was going to be safe and reliable and secure and stable. You would not do anything unless you were certain of it. On Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I believe certainty or security or safety is at the top or at the bottom, depending on which way you're looking at it. If you guys are unfamiliar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, he broke down all of the basic fundamental needs of human beings, one of them being security and safety. You can call that certainty. In order for a person to take any sort of action, they must be certain. The holy grail of action is certainty. That belief that you have, the amount of belief is determined by the amount of potential you can tap into. So, for example, back to the car scenario. Natalie built up belief. All of you built up belief about your car. You drove it yesterday, you took it to the shop, the tires look good, it doesn't make any funny sounds. All of you began to build belief that whatever scenario would work. That created certainty in your life. Because you were certain, you took action. So if you look over here at this little paragraph, this little image that they sent over to us, belief turns into potential, potential turns into action, action then turns into results. So potential belief, action, results, reinforce the beliefs. And you can kind of see a photo. Looking at the time, someone just sent me a little reminder, so I got to speed things up, and I will do that now. Any questions regarding how to take massive action or create certainty in your life? Last thing I'll add to that is this. This is something that I learned that was not talked about at the event on Friday. But if you want to build certainty to take action, let's just say a lot of you are afraid to cold call, or you're uncertain about door knocking, you're uncertain about open houses, you're uncertain about social media. The number one thing that you have to do, just like the car example that I gave all of you, is create certainty. Go out there and create certainty, create belief for yourself. I like to call it creating references. I gave this example one time at a talk that I was doing for this agency. And I told everyone this. I said, look, let's just use an example of meeting a person for the first time. Let's say I met Juan or Amanda or Lamaidi, anyone for the first time. I met you in person. You and I don't know each other. But the moment we both met each other for the first time, you and I, in our brain, created a reference for one another. Listen to what I'm telling you. Every single time that you meet someone new or you go to a place that's new, your brain will automatically create a reference for that person. Your brain is like a filing cabinet, if you will. Your brain's like a filing cabinet. And every time you have a new experience or you meet a new person, your brain will create a reference. It'll open the filing cabinet and say, oh, wow, Ben from North Carolina. Yeah, Ben from North Carolina. I like him. He's funny. He's smart. The first time I met him. So my brain grabs that reference, puts it in my brain, closes the filing cabinet and says, Ben Simmons, cool guy, funny guy. Then I meet Ben again, second time on a call. And I'm like, man, this guy is really awesome. He's down to earth. He's easy to work with. So now my brain begins to build a belief about Ben. My filing cabinet opens back up. I shove a reference back into my file and I close it. And then the third time I meet him again, I'm like, man, this guy is just outstanding. I can't wait to work with him. And now I've created certainty about Ben's personality. The same is true about the opposites. You meet someone for the first time, they're an a-hole. You're like, wow, that guy was rude. Your brain opens up a filing cabinet, puts a reference inside of it and said, that guy's rude. Second time you see that guy, they look at you, roll their eyes, walk away from you. You're like, ugh. The second time you meet this guy, brain opens the filing cabinet, says, second time, rude, rolled eyes. Then the third time you see this person, you go up and you introduce yourself and they dog you completely and they walk away and they quote unquote diss you in front of everyone. You're like, I can't stand this person. They're a jerk. They're an a-hole. They're full of themselves. And your brain creates a reference and certainty for that person. So now, whenever you see that person, you avoid them at all costs because your brain already has three references that says they're a jerk. This is how our brain works with everything in our life. So if you want to create certainty about a certain topic and you want to take action, then you need more references. You need more experiences that support the action that you want to take. You want to drive a car, just like you wanted for all of us who never drove a car before and eventually ended up driving one. You were uncertain about your ability to drive, yes or yes? All of us were uncertain about our ability to drive a car. But then you got in a car. And your mom, father, older brother, sibling, loved one, someone supported you, got in the car with you and said, this is how you turn it on. There's a reference. I can actually do this. Second time you got in the car, I can do it. Third time, until your references were so strong that you were so certain that you could do it. You could drive in a parking lot by yourself. And then one day, with all that certainty in a parking lot, you gave yourself a shot and you went onto the highway, the freeway, the scary freeway that everyone dreads. Well, your brain has enough certainty about streets, so you gave it a shot. You would never drive a car for the first time onto the freeway, and none of us would allow anyone to drive a car for the first time on a freeway because there's not enough certainty. So what I'm trying to tell you all is when it comes to door knocking, cold calling, listing presentations, videos on social media, what is it you need to do to create more results? You have to take more action. In order to take more action, you have to create more certainty, more references. Watch people make the calls. Watch people go door knocking, script practice, have someone watch you make the call, have someone watch you hit the door, have someone watch your video that you created, create certainty that it actually can work. And that certainty leads to action, actions lead to results. Any questions on that before we move on to the next segment, which is the listing presentation that we talked about on Friday? Any thoughts, any aha moments? I see David Knapp looks really excited down there.
Yeah, just a thought, Gabe. I mean, I just think it's kind of like the same thing when you go to a new place, right? Like when you're taking a road trip, it kind of seems like you're uncertain. It takes forever. But when you get to the destination, now your brain's like, all right, cool. I know how to get to this place. And it's like now time even has a different texture altogether. So it changes everything. So I just wanted to, that was kind of like something I was thinking as you were sharing. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's 100% true. Okay, listing presentation. We're gonna go through this one really quickly because I just got a second notification to hurry my butt up. Okay, here we go. Listing presentation that we talked about on Friday. I want everyone to write this one down, please. There are 3 steps to your listing presentation. Ready? Here we go. Point number 1 before we get into this is you're going to pre-qualify your listing. So first step, you got to pre-qualify them. How do you do that? Before every listing presentation that you go on, all of you, including myself, everyone, every listing presentation, anytime. It does not matter if it's your cousin, your best friend, a previous client. It never matters. And I'll tell you why. You will always send a pre-listing packet to your client prior to your presentations. Excuse me. I said pre-qualify. It's in the pre-listing packet. Step 1 is pre-listing packet gets mailed out first. Emailed or mailed or hand delivered. Pre-listing packet. Your pre-listing packet should include references. Write this down. Step number 1. Your pre-listing packet should include your listing presentation, which should be your references, your marketing plan, your sales comparables, your net sheet, and contracts. You send everything to the client in advance. Your pre-listing packet gets sent out first. That's step number 1 in your listing presentation. You gather all the data, you do all the homework, you run all the numbers, you get all that stuff situated. Step number 1. Step number 2 is to pre-qualify. This is where you're going to ask a set of established questions to the seller that already exist. You're not going to make up questions. You're going to ask them a set of questions, pre-qualify, after they've had an opportunity to review the information. So I have a listing presentation coming up. I email it to them 2 days before the presentation. I mail it 2 days before the presentation. I deliver it 2 days before the presentation. 1 day before the presentation, I give them a call. And I ask them a series of questions, which are known as the pre-qualifying script. During that pre-qualifying script, you're going to ask them a series of questions, which let me see if I can pull it up for you so you guys can all screenshot that. I did have it at the event. 1 moment. Pre-qualifying script. Okay. You guys take a screenshot of this, please. Please take a screenshot of this. Ready? Where is that? 1 moment. Right here. You guys all see that? Let me know if you can see it, please. Yes, little head nod.
Yes,
Yep.
we see it.
Thank you. Okay. So please take a screenshot of that pre-qualifying script. This is a script that we use. It's missing 1 question on here. The 1 question it's missing is what 2 qualities are you looking for in the real estate agent that you hire to sell your home? These are the questions. I'm giving you a quick call to confirm the appointment. When I come out tomorrow, are you guys going to be listing with me? Is the second question in the 3rd paragraph. First technical question is, where are you moving to? How much do you want to list your home for? Are you familiar with what's going on with the market? I'm studying these houses every day, so you're going to list with me at a price that sells. What price won't you go below? How much do you owe on the property? Have you ever thought about selling the home yourself? Are you planning to interview more than 1 agent for the job of selling your home? This is where a lot of agents freak out. I've even had my own agents skip this question. That's a difficult question to ask a prospect, is if they're going to be interviewing anyone else. Why is that a hard question to ask? Can someone tell me?
Fear of rejection.
No one wants to hear the obvious truth that, yeah, we got 3 other people coming. You would rather avoid hearing that they have 3 other agents that are coming. So you don't ask that question in its entirety. Therefore, you show up to the listing presentation unprepared. You think you're gonna get it signed and they tell you, nope, we got 3 other people coming. And you could not even prepare for your competition. Would you describe your home for me? What 2 qualities? Oh, the question is that, never mind, number 10. What 2 qualities are you looking for in the agent that you hire? This is probably my tied for first favorite question in the entire pre-qualifying script, because they're going to tell you what they're looking for. There's no other way to put it. There's no hiding it. When you ask a prospect, what are the 2 qualities that you're looking for when you hire an agent, they're going to just tell you what's on their mind or on their heart. Hey, we're looking for someone that can get the job done quick. We're looking for someone who's honest. We're looking for someone who has a unique marketing plan. We're looking for someone who's the cheapest option that's out there. They're going to tell you what they're looking for. So guess what? When it's time to show up to listing presentation, you know who you have to be. Do you have any questions before I arrive? Very important question, number 11. Do you have any questions before I arrive? Because this question right here is pertaining to the pre-listing packet that you sent over. Yeah, you know what? Funny that you asked that, Juan, because I was looking at the packet you sent over and I saw that you guys charge 6% commission. Is that negotiable? Yeah, hey, I see here that the contract is listed for 1 year. Hey, I saw here that you guys charge a transaction coordinator fee. What is that? They start asking you all these questions about the contract that you have. And your response to them is, great, I'm writing this, give me 1 moment, sir. I'm writing this question down for us. It sounds like it's very important to you, and I'll make sure to spend a little extra time when we meet to go over it in person. Are there any questions, any other questions that you have about the presentation or the packet of information I sent over to you? Yeah, you know what? This too, perfect. Those 2 items. Aside from those 2 questions, is there anything else? No, that's it. Wonderful. So just so you know, our meeting should take about 30 minutes. Is that okay? I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 5. Now I know by asking these questions what the objections are going to be. Now I know by asking these questions what who my competition is going to be. And I come into the presentation prepared. I can now pull their MLS numbers. I can now pull their license numbers. I can now compare my social media to their social media. I can now pull my numbers compared to their numbers and say, look who you're interviewing. And tactfully, I will show them the difference between us and them. Any questions on that before I move on to the listing presentation? Because I do have 7 minutes left and I got to zoom through this.
Hey, bro, I wanted to ask, why do you ask them, have you thought about selling your home first? Have you thought about selling your home on your own before? Why do you ask them that?
Because there are clients who will think about selling it themselves and waste your time and say, yeah, you know what, we're going to sell it ourselves. We thought about it, and all they're really doing is just bringing you on to the thing so they can take your ideas and all that stuff. So you want to identify if they're trying to sell it themselves or not. And you don't want to waste your time. If they're going to be listing it themselves on their own and they're just looking for your input and your information, yeah, you can help them a little bit, but I wouldn't sit there and waste. I wouldn't sit there spending 2 hours preparing for it, 2 hours at the appointment, plus your drive time. That's 4 or 5 hours right there that you're wasting for someone who's not going to be serious and they end up selling it themselves. Just sending them an email with the punch list and say, do this, do that, do this. I'll check back in with you in 6 weeks, see if it works.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, bro.
Really good question, Rashad. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hey, Gabe.
Hi.
Quick question. Rocio and I are actually going through this listing right now, and one of the hesitations for the sellers that we're running into is it's a divorce case. So we have the wife that is agreeing to paying us 7% and agreeing on a fair market value price. And the husband is more adamant about a 5% commission with an above the higher end of the market value. How do you approach those conversations, or how would you recommend us going about?
Yeah, 2 different objections here. So we have a commission objection and we also have a pricing objection. This is my favorite objection handler for both. So when it comes to objection handling with pricing, I always turn the table on the seller. So let's role play this, okay? Live role play on objection handling on pricing. So Maria, you're going to be the stubborn husband who wants to go at the high end of the market. Okay. All right. So let's just call the subject property 400,000. And well, actually, why don't you give me the real numbers? What are the real numbers? What can it actually sell for? And what does he want?
Sure. So it could actually sell for around 195, and he's wanting more of 220.
Okay. So he wants it. So he wants 220, realistically 195. All right, great. And the sales comparables in the area justify a 195 sales price. They're, I'm guessing, slightly above, slightly less.
Yes, right. Spot on.
Okay.
Let me let them know.
1 moment. Hold on. Okay, here we go. All right. So, all right, Maria. Yeah. So I do appreciate you wanting to be ambitious about the sales price. Okay. Let me work with you on this really quick so you can see how we came up with the list price. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay. So if you look what I want to do right now is I want to pretend that you're my client that I'm representing to purchase this home. You want to buy in this neighborhood, and you're going to look at me and you're going to look at the subject property that we're in today, and you're going to ask me a question. You're going to say, Gabe, or you're going to ask me, Gabe, what should my wife and I offer on this property? And what I'm going to do is probably the same thing that you're going to do, which is we're both going to go online. We're going to look at all of the activity in the neighborhood, and we're going to look at all the recent sales, pending and active listings, and we're going to determine what these homes are actually selling for in this neighborhood. So we're going to pull up Redfin, we're going to pull up Zillow, and this is where I'll pull up my iPad and I'll show them. So we're going to do this right here, and you and I can both see 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes in this neighborhood are selling for 175, 185, 190, 195. One sold for 197. And you see that yourself, right?
Right.
Okay, perfect. So Maria, here's my question to you. If you're my buyer and you ask me what offer to submit on this property, if I push you to submit an offer at $220,000, after you looked at the facts, the only thought that's going to come across your mind, Maria, is that I'm not looking out for your best interest and I'm only looking out for my commission. Because we both know the higher I sell this price, the more I get paid. So you're going to look at me like, why, Gabe, why are you telling me to buy this home at $220,000 when all the houses in the area are selling for $190,000? $30,000 above market value. There's not $30,000 more dollars of value in here. And you're going to look at me like I don't have your best interest, Maria. Exactly what we're going to do for this offer is exactly what every other real estate agent's going to do out there with their client. And they're going to go ahead and offer something less. And the adverse effect from that, the negative outcome from that is this: the home is going to sit on the market longer. We're going to have to price decrease. And in a market like this, where we have shortage of inventory and it's a seller's market, if your home is on the market above average market days and you're going backwards on price in a seller's market, it's a huge red flag indication. Everyone's going to ask one question. And what question do you think that is, Maria?
What's wrong with the house?
What's wrong with the house? And I'll tell you right now, I just walked through your entire home. There's nothing wrong with it. And now I have to fight an uphill battle. What I would rather do, Maria, and this is my professional suggestion, rather than listing the home really high and working our way backwards, are you familiar with the auctioneer approach?
No.
The auctioneer approach is like this. So, you know, auctions where they sell the world's rarest collectibles like paintings and cars, jewelry, fine art. You know, they host them in these private areas. Well, the auctioneers, what do? Do they take these rare cars and rare paintings and rare jewelry and start high and work backward and say, 500,000, I'll take 400,000, I'll take 300,000? Or do they take that rare collectible, start it very low, and then drive the price high? What do?
Start low and go up.
Exactly. So my recommendation is, rather than going the other way, let's take the auctioneer approach. It's a proven method where we list it just under fair market value. You allow all of my amazing marketing material to drive the price high. We show the home once during the open house, and myself and my sales team are going to be boots on the ground here. So when people come in here, we're going to start selling the heck out of this home and driving the price high. Does that make sense on how we're going to do that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to pause there for a second. That's my pricing objection handler.
Okay, so the thing that they kind of come back at is like, hey, I've got it appraised, and it said it appraised for 220.
Perfect. How long ago was your appraisal?
Shoot, that's actually a good question, but I think it was recent.
Yeah. Would you say it's like, would you say it was like 90 days ago, 6 months ago?
Maybe 6 months ago.
6 months ago. Okay. Yeah. And what was the reason for the appraisal? Did you guys do a refinance?
They were gonna sell it because we're getting a divorce. So
okay, so it's important to note what kind of appraisal it was. If it was a refinance, if it was a HELOC, if it was a bank ordered appraisal from independent, all those different kinds of appraisals are completely different from a retail purchase. A retail purchase appraisal is completely different than an appraisal for a HELOC or a refinance, or just even independent, someone who's going to go out there and just give you their objective or their subjective value, opinion on the value. Second thing I also want to remind you of, Maria, thank you for letting me know about the appraisal, is that was done 6 months ago. the market that we're currently in is drastically different than 6 months ago. Interest rates were significantly lower. Therefore, buyer affordability was higher, so you could afford a little more home back then. But if you've noticed, interest rates are significantly higher now, and buyer affordability has gone down. We're in a volatile market. We can't risk to go put your home at a higher price. And we can't risk to put a price tag on your home today that once was 6 months ago. That's like saying to me, hey, Gabe, can we list my home for the price that it was worth in 2005? No, we can't. It's two different markets. 6 months ago, 5 years ago, two different markets. Today, here's the market. I only looked at data that's sold in the last 90 days or 60 days, and you can see this is the activity here. If we would have sold it 6 months ago, I would have been on board with that, Maria, but the facts and the numbers are the numbers. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Even if it's assessed for more.
Well, hey, listen, I'll be honest. There's going to be a lot of real estate agents or even people that are going to tell you what you want to hear. Respectfully speaking, I have to have a hard conversation sometimes of telling people what they need to hear, not what they want. And the reality is this. And if I allow, if someone allows you to put this home on the market based on what they were selling for 6 months ago, you're going to walk into a scenario where buyers are going to see the price. It's overinflated. They're going to see the sales comparables. Rates are drastically higher than 6 months ago. And they're going to be smart about it and say, no, we're not going to do it. Let me ask you a question. Would you do it? Would you pay $30,000 more for this house at a higher interest rate compared to 6 months ago? Or would you pay fair market value?
Jeez, yeah, I wouldn't pay that much.
Yeah, and I'm trying to protect us from doing that. That's my job as a listing agent, is to prevent those objections from coming up.
Got it. Thank you.
Of course, good question. I have 2 minutes left. Anything else? Let's wrap it up. Oh, commission objection, you guys asked. Commission objection. This comes down to, this is how I do it. So if everyone wants to write this down really quickly when I'm sitting down in front of the seller. Hey, seller, so I have, I'm glad that you brought up the commission. This is how it works. So we have 7% total. We're going to offer 2.5% to the buy side, and then we're going to have 3.5% or whatever the difference is, 4.5% to the list side. All of the marketing that we just got done showing you. So the 7% that you are paying for the job of selling your home, that 5.5% or 5%, whatever it is, that difference, 4.5%, that part goes to the listing agency. 1% of that commission goes towards 1.5% of that goes to all the marketing needs. So photography, video, Matterport, website, social media advertising, even having physical bodies at the open house, that's expensive. Manual labor isn't cheap. So to have 2, 3, 4 agents at an open house, it's expensive to do those kind of things. So that 1.5% is going to cover all the marketing efforts. We don't own the company at EXP. We're actually brokered by them. So they handle a lot of our liability and insurances. 1% of that will go to the company for owning the company. And then the remaining 2%, that's actually what we get to take home for orchestrating everything, negotiating the deal, hosting the open houses, taking the photos over. Think of us like a general contractor, where the general contractor takes care of the flooring, oversees the electrician, the plumber. That's our responsibility. But I do want to be transparent with you, Maria. Out of that 2% that we get from there, we still get to split it amongst the team, and we still get to split it with Uncle Sam, 30%. We are independent contractors. We're not W-2. So 30% of that does go to Uncle Sam. And then after that, we split it amongst the rest of the team on top of it. So truly, we'll probably end up with about 0.5% to 0.75% to do the job. To do the job the right way. And I want to let you know, and then I'll just add this one as a freebie, guys. I want to let you know, if someone is offering you to sell their home and they're offering you to do for less commission, they've already failed their first job as a listing agent. They already failed at their first attempt at negotiations. Here's why. Maria, if you have a client sitting, if you have an agent sitting across the table from you, and they were able to easily drop their fee on what they would be willing to sell this home for, they failed at the first step of negotiations already, because they're not able to negotiate their own self-worth, literally money that they're going to feed their own family with, and now they're going to take care of their own bills. They were able to cut that just by a simple question. Do you feel comfortable and confident in someone's ability to fight for your equity when they can't even fight for theirs?
No.
Oh, no. I would hope that you can see that you're not hiring an agency that's a pushover. We're not going to just take the first offer. We're going to sit here. We're going to negotiate the heck of it out of this. It doesn't matter if it's 8 a.m. or 8 o'clock at night. You're hiring the best team, and we're going to sit here and fight for every single dime. And I hope you can see the value in that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Damn, that felt good.
I say, bro, you are a true fucking master of your craft. I apologize for the bad cursing, but man, you.
Yes.
Buddy.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. It means a lot, Rashad. Thank you.
We'll let you know once our listing is signed.
Yes.
You know what it's time. Yes, yes. So I'm just going to zoom through this quickly. You guys can just look at the rest of it. All right. So about myself, then we go to experience. I ask the intentions. So during the listing presentation, first step during the listing presentation, once you walk into the house, is to ask them to give you a tour. Once they give you a tour, your job is to build rapport and find out about the home. During the tour, build rapport and find out about the home. Once you're done touring the entire property and you're taking notes about the home, which you have a note section right here. Once you sit down at the kitchen table, step 2, sit down at the kitchen table, and you're going to ask them, so what are your plans? What do you want to do? What's your goal? And then just let them tell you everything. People love to hear themselves talk. People like to be heard. This is why people will pay an obscene amount of money to a counselor just to have someone listen to them. Why us? So after I hear what they want to do, I sell them on why us. Hey, look it, we have a network of brokers across the country. Here's our sales organization. We have a front of the shop. We have a back of the shop. Talk about the organization. This is where I tell them like, hey, look, we're a 5-star restaurant and the other agents that you were interviewing are taco shops. Not a bad thing. Taco shops are great. I love taco shops. But what happens if you want a 5-star experience? If you want someone to bring your food out to you, park your car, answer your phone call, you want a 5-star experience. A taco shop's not going to do that. And how many people can a taco shop really serve? Maybe 3, 4, 5 people. But once it starts to get really busy, you're not going to have phone calls answered. You're not going to have messages responded to on time. And I'll go into the whole team aspect of it. Then I'll talk about the marketing plan, how fuego it is. This is where I build the value of who we are, how we're going to expose our property. So I fight for the commission. I show them exactly what we're going to do. And then I go into the agreement. Then we plan. And after I go into the agreement and all the numbers and everything right here, they'll say, okay, does that all make sense to you? The numbers make sense to you? Perfect. Okay. Then I go into let's plan your move. All right. So when do you guys want to move by? You want to have your home listed by that date, or do you want to have your home sold by that date? And I'll start getting them to commit to dates. After this is all completed, we'll go into the contract section. And that's where I'll say, okay, great. You guys ready to move forward? Chances are they're not going to want to sit through an entire presentation just like that with 2 other people. You've already built confidence. You've already built certainty. You've already built value. They're not going to want to go sit there and interview 2 other people. Hey, Gabe, we're going to be interviewing 2 other people. Look, I totally get it. Part of my services, I will go ahead and contact those other agents for you. I will let them know respectfully that they decided to hire me and they were really appreciative of your time and looking forward to meeting with you, but respectfully decided to move forward with us. So your services are no longer needed. Peace, homie, and then have them bounce. Okay. Okay, now we're really over time and I'm getting chewed out now. Any final thoughts before we close and wrap up?
Drop the mic.
Damn, here you go, y'all. Bye. I love it. Let me know if you have any final questions or thoughts, or maybe even some big ahas and takeaways.
Did you make your presentation on Canva?
I hired a graphic designer to make it for me.
Got it. Thanks.
You're very welcome.
Gabe, thank you so much for all the information. It was so good. And with the DISC assessment, it brought something back. So I did a course called the bank method. Oh, wait, I don't think you can see it. And it says why they buy. So it's applicating the DISC assessment into actually sales and why people buy. And this book is absolutely a game changer. So it's called Why They Buy, the Bank Method.
Oh, I just heard sis said that I'm gonna have a book in the mail the next couple of days. That's what I heard. Thank you, sis. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Want to respect everyone's time, but I also want to give everyone an opportunity to share anything that they might have learned or ask any final questions before we wrap up. Great job. Great stuff. Thank you. You're very welcome. This was great, Gabe. Thank you. You're very welcome. Thanks, Gabe. You're welcome, Stephanie. Ben, you're welcome. Ivan, you're welcome. Will you please send us the listening presentation? Absolutely. Cool. All right, everyone. Smile at the camera. I'm going to take a photo if there's no final questions. Here we go. Ready? 1. Everyone smile, smile, smile. Look, ready? 1, 2, and 3. Bam. Awesome, team. Have a healthy, happy, productive day. If you guys have any questions, drop them in Slack and let's go win. Peace.
Peace.